Hey everybody, HaFast Garage here, spring edition. Got my utility trailer behind me. I picked up cheap a few years ago. The world's ugliest, cheapest trailer, $1,000. Put some new rubber on all four corners. So I'm into it for about $2 grand. Today I'm gonna start modifying it to make it into a flatbed car hauler. And we'll see how that goes. I'm trying to spend as little money as possible on this thing. I've got some lights, some wiring, and I'm just going to try and reuse as much metal off of the trailer when I cut it up and redo it. I'm going to be redoing the back ramp, maybe adding a beaver tail, we'll see. So hopefully, I've got a lot of scraps still here to work with. So I'll put the time lapse on and get the plasma cutter going or grinder and start cutting things up. Been a few weeks since I worked on the ugliest trailer, but I'm back at it again today. I've got a Diablo circular saw blade to cut metal with. I'm going to try and cut the sides of the trailer off. So cue the time lapse. I'm not sure if I covered last time cutting the sides off originally, but here we are. So check it out. Okay, so I've got the deck of the trailer practically all cleaned up. As you saw last time, I cut the sides off with the skill saw, the Diablo metal blade. Worked pretty decent. I think it was binding up the way I had things set up. What I need to do now is go through and separate these remaining pieces of weld that are stuck to here, this side piece, and then do the same thing, clean up my rails over here. As you can see, they've got pieces left over, those wavy bits, cut those off. As I discovered the ground eyelet right there was basically Bluetooth, so everything's working good, cuts great now. I wish I would have known that a lot sooner. So, time to blast everything away. Okay, so I've got all the extra pieces plasma cut off of the frame of the trailer. I'll probably end up having to replace this. You can see water got in there, froze it, swole it right up. So I'll have to reconfigure it, probably put my tail lights in here down low. So I'm gonna grind, clean everything up. Not too much grinding left to do, the plasma cleaned it up really nice. So yeah, very minimal grinding to do. So I'll blast this little piece off here in between the wheels, and then I'll start working on the rails. Alright, not sure what I skipped out filming here, but you know, gotta get things done. It's hard to work and film. So I got the edge of the rail and the trailer grinded down. I got everything fitted in place. I decided not to take the wavy metal off the inside because it was welded top and bottom. It was going to be a lot of extra work, so instead of it being on the outside, I just flipped the rail around to the inside. I think what I'm going to do is drop this down so it's tapered gradually. That way anything wide that I prefer to haul will fit on there. And my idea right now is to use that piece of conveyor belting cut in half as rubber fenders that are able to be run over without being bent. They'll just shape back, can back into things, have a lot more forgiveness. So I think I'm going to tack this in place and then jump over to the other side probably. Okay, I got everything lined up, grinded, set up and ready to tack. I'll move down to that end, throw a tack in the middle, then I'll jump over to the other side. So I got the ends cut off yesterday. I also managed to get the gate off. Now I need to figure out if I'm going to dovetail the back and extend the ramps, or if I'm going to leave them hinged in some way. I'm going to figure that out right now. Okay, so I got the rear gate ramp chopped up into pieces. It's going to be 2 individual ramps. All these pieces here from the sides I cut apart, going to recycle everything, keep the cost down on this build, try to reuse everything that I can. So I've decided I'm going to extend a foot, which is going to drop it down by 4 inches and should help give me a better angle on the ramps as well as more deck room. Time to grind. So I got all the cut pieces ground down, all the welds are cleaned up. I cut the expanded steel off of the gate. I'm gonna section this, flip it, use that to extend it, use that and to extend the other one, and then I'll have some pieces left over to reinforce with. And then I'll cut the mesh and put it back on. Next, I think I'm going to remove the old hinges, plasma cut them off. Got all the hinges cut off with the plasma cutter. Just gouged everything out of the way. Got minimal grinding to do. Once again, very happy with the little Amazon plasma cutter. Now to grind this and start fitting and cutting other pieces to extend the back of the beaver tail for the ramps. Outside once again, got my pieces here ready to go. I think I've decided I'm just gonna make 6-inch extensions. It'll be 8 inches with the square tubing at the end. Make everything a little bit shorter and stiffer that way, not as much leverage. Okay, so I got the one side tacked already. I'm gonna go ahead and tack up the other side now. There we go, got the ends of the trailer tacked in place. I'll be building the tail lights off of the extension here. And I may end up tying the center in, but it's really not necessary. I got the support gussets cut out for the extensions. Got this one fitted in the place, about to tack it in. Got one other gusset traced out. Trace another one and then cut them both. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and start to extend the ramps now. So I'm gonna plasma cut this off, that, and I'm gonna use what's left of this to extend it. So I'm gonna cut this off on that end, and this off on that end, extend my ramps a foot. Got everything cut off camera. Just gonna start tacking the extensions in place. A couple days later, I got all my welding and stuff done on the trailer. I did everything off camera. It's just a lot quicker and easier to do it. Just about to do the wiring today, and then the only thing left to do should be painting it afterwards. So I'll show you what I've got done to date, what you guys missed out on, and try to get a little bit of footage today of what I'm doing, but just wiring, basics, trailer. So here's the ramps all done and extended. Got all the welds ground down. Gonna go ahead and put some gussets where it's butt welded together, just to keep water out. But yeah, that's that. Onto the trailer. Got all the light brackets done. The ramps turned out really good. Got our clearance light brackets in the back. License plate going down below on the fender. And then I'd like to add flat bar to make it easier to hook chains. Got the front section welded in. And I'll need to flip these tabs over to the side for the clearance lights. But yeah, that's it. Time to wire it. So I'm gonna upgrade this old wiring, which was all red, set up for 4-pin. I'm gonna upgrade it to the proper 4-pin colored wiring, and then add the charging wire and brake wire to upgrade it to a 7-pin. But yeah, get rid of this mess. Keep it color coded. So I'd originally decided to run the wiring down the middle, but I've decided I'm going to run it along the side. That way I can tag along this marker, the ones on the fenders, and then hit the tail lights. Seems to make the most sense for the amount of wire I have. So I'm going to start putting some self-toppers to hang some zip ties off of and keep the wiring up against the frame rail. Left and the right side, that way there's no issues for drainage. This is the cheap, easy solution for the wiring. Just put a little bit of electrical tape for the chafing, and then a self-topper to hold everything. No P-clamps, no nothing like that. Cheap, simple, effective. Fix it on the side of the road, no problem. So yeah, I'm just going to continue zip tying the wiring all along the frame and making my splices. And on further inspection under here, looks like I'm going to be having to buy a new shackle and hardware kit. Not only is the hole stretched, but this nut is rusted and barely holding on. Not sure how well you can actually see that. Anyways, back to the wiring. Okay, I got my wiring ran underneath the frame, just zip tied through whatever gaps that I could find. Wiring runs inside the fender. A couple holes drilled here for a zip tie, and I've just drilled my pilot hole for my marker light. Gonna drill that out now. There we go, marker light installed. I got the side markers flipped around. Got most of the wiring roughed in. Just gotta tidy it up. Looks like mom's spaghetti right now. But I've got a major design flaw. I don't have enough clearance on the fenders. So I'm gonna go ahead and use the rubber conveyor belting. And we'll see how that turns out. Got my belting marked out. Gonna cut her in half. First side, nearly completed. Worked out pretty good. This is what I'd first thought of doing in the first place. It's proof of concept, it works. It's gonna give me more clearance. I'll put a support brace in the middle. Should help out. Be able to drive over the fenders without any harm. Back into things, throw things over them. So now I've just gotta drill my holes on this one. And then I'll brace the back part and front part of the fender and I'll cut the top off. Alright, got both fenders cut out. Mistake on my part, I guess, when I was using the T-square. I didn't measure properly, so got a little bit of extra I'm gonna have to cut. I've done that before, I should have learned, but oh well. Measure twice, cut once. Guess I'll have to cut twice. Okay, I've got this side drilled and bolted down. I'm gonna remove everything, cut the tops of the fenders off. I'm gonna go ahead and weld the gusset in here just to hold the bottom halves and the steel part of the fender. And then I just need a brace for the center. Got the tops of the fender cut off on this side. I'll bolt the rubber fender back up and see how things are. See where I need to mock up the center bracket or if it's needed. Okay, got this one bolted down tight. Pretty much how I wanted it. Put a little bit of a support in the center. But this way here you'll be able to drive over them with having the rail underneath for support. So I'll put one support in the center. I don't know if I'll make it rigid or flexible in some way. I might just make it come out to this outer edge so that anything that rides on it will be closer to the rail. But yeah, it's working pretty good. Okay, it's not pretty, but it's done. Got clearance for my marker lights, front and back. Got everything bolted on to the crooked fender. Just need a little bit of support in the center. Got my side supports roughed in. Just gonna add one more bolt from the top down. That should be more than enough. Oh, there we are. All lit up. Little motorcycle license plate lights. Markers on the front. Good to go. All new hardware. Check it out. Got everything painted, stickered, lights. It's my second load since I rebuilt it. Hauled a load of scrap into Sudbury. Now hauling a load of logs for my father-in-law. Works really good.